Hello, welcome back to part 2 of the Typing Grids project, first week. This is thumbnails. So what I'm going to do now is a short presentation on what we would like you to do in the afternoon of the Monday, which is basically produce some small sketches of possible layouts that you can then take into the computer lesson on Tuesday. So what is a thumbnail? Well, that's my thumbnail there, which is quite small, and I'll just show you an example here of a thumbnail sketch. They're called thumbnails because of the size. Here's a little one here, which I'll come to again later. But you'll find that on the Monday we will ask you to bring in your some copies, A4 copies maybe, of some of the visual research you've collected on your typographer or designer, some of the key bits. Now you'll know that better than anybody which are the key bits of work of theirs and maybe something you want to use. But initially, as long as you've got something to sketch from, that's great. There's visual material. We will also provide you with a couple of handouts, say 3. This one here is got a big structure here, but what it does, it explains a little bit more about grids, but also at the same time it actually puts a typeface which is actually grotesque into lots of different sizes. So you have something here which is 18 point on 21, that's 21 point on 28, down to 7 point on 10, italic. So you have a range of different font sizes there, and you'll be able to use those when you come to tracing out your little sketch. We also have another one here. Why should I use a grid? Well, because it will add structure to your layout. But again, this isn't just body copy, what we call body copy or lorem ipsum, Latin text. You actually read this, so please do read them. But more importantly as well, they also provide you with something that you can sketch from, type-wise, just to indicate where you might put type and what size it might be along with those. So you have some typography, different sizes, and then you bring into the table or the session, you will bring some of your runouts. We will also give you one of these, which is the forefront logo, so you can do some ideas for your front cover. This is the masthead that you'll be using, or the logo type for the front of the thing. And this probably is the one you might want to use because it's more in keeping with the sort of size that you might want to use on the front cover. So yeah, so those are the things that we will be giving you, and we'll also be giving you this here. So this here is a miniature version on tracing paper of the grid which you've just drawn up previously. So we'll give you 3 or 4 of these. It's on tracing paper because that then means that you can then begin to basically work out which picture you want where or which image you want where within the grid structure. So again, you'll need a pencil, fine liners. The ruler is quite good as well for this. But to show you a couple that I've done, I think here are a couple, and these initial ones, you can see that there. Yeah, so this is one on Bradbury Thompson. So you have done a major headline through here, indicated possibly where I might put some type on the grid, and a couple of images. This is another one here. Again, so as you can see, quite detailed, and this will provide me and you, or if you go into Chris's level, not with a blank piece of paper like this, but you'll have something that you can then basically get to grips with and start flowing text in, and all these images which you've probably scanned in or taken from the internet you can then use. So yeah, we suggest that basically you should be able to do 3 or 4 of these in the afternoon, maybe more, but take some time. I think each one of these took something like 15-20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So within a couple of hours, the afternoon session, you should be able to at least produce 5 or 6 of those. And don't worry, they won't be the final ones, but as I say, this project is about doing a layout, then improving it, doing a lot of the layout. You'd be surprised how fast you'll be able to get on with this project once you get on the computer. But before we want you to actually go to the computer with a blank screen, we want you to sort of do this. So I'll just show you how this one here needs finishing off. So I think you just want a little bit more typography, maybe down here. So again, what I do is I put it on the top there, and then I just quickly with a line go through, and then just indicate. You can do this with a ruler as well, so it looks a lot better. But these little scamps or thumbnails, all designers do these initially. As you get better, you can, years and years of practice, you can probably design on the computer. Something like this, it indicates I'm going to put an image in there. I don't quite know what image it's going to be, so it's a box with a cross. Or if I do know which image I'm going to put in, then I will just quickly trace around it to get the scale right on there. I think there's one more thing I just want to show you. Maybe go back to the image again. I think I just want to basically just indicate maybe that I would probably put this letter here in there. So that could be quickly put in like that. Just a quick outline tracing paper so you can see how fast you can do something. You can just basically block that in there. You know, this isn't about, you know, how fast you can do something. It's about care and attention. So there you have it. So yeah, so as I say, these here sometimes can just indicate basically where you're going to put something, but these are invaluable to you really initially. When it gets really interesting with the layout is when you've read something about the typographer and you're using the imagery and doing a proper layout that basically represents something that the designer might stand for, something they've said or something like that. So everything really you put on a layout has to have, you know, some reason, whether it's an idea or whether you're just doing it to line it up. Or make it look aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, that's about it really, apart from, I just want to show you one more. For those of you who maybe want to do a full scale, you know, go a little bit further. This one here took maybe about an hour, if that. So, sorry, I shouldn't do that really, I should just basically, that is the actual layout there. Can you see that there? So, what we have here is an actual, not a scamp as such, but an actual kind of reasonably detailed trace layout. Which, you know, the columns on there, which is drawn in pencil, a 6-column grid. But this is an interesting thing. It's an overarching image that bridges the two spreads. The more that you get into sort of layout and things like that, you'll learn about kind of like things like that, how you can actually join what makes a spread, as opposed to two individual pieces of spreads. This here connects over to Vesfaco Inspirations, which was something that was done by Bradbury Thompson. So here I say image, it says possible portrait, and then a quote from him to be a toy, a tool and a teacher. Type can be a toy, a tool or a teacher. So that's taking something from what he said and then using it up there. And then you can see through here there's a line that connects to the bottom of those images. So 3 images in here and 1 large image in here. And then the text here is what's called justified. And you can see here this might be a little bit bolder on a colour. You can, you know, add colour in as well. The page numbers, the folio numbers, page 25 and 24, and little drawings on here as well. Sort of, you know. And then from that, you take something like that to the computer, then you know you will be able to produce something like this in no time at all, because you know all you're doing is basically realising your scamp designs really. So yeah, you can see there that's the actual grid for that there. So yeah, so that's another one of those. I think there's one underneath as well, which is another one of Bradbury Thompson's sort of spreads. So, and hopefully with this presentation combined with the first one, it'll give you pretty much a kind of rough idea where we're heading. So this really, presentation is just to finish off is about these scamps really and thumbnails. So as I say, hopefully I think that it's not beyond the realms of possibility that you can do 4 or 5 within the time, you know. And really consider them as sort of because these are, as I say, what you're going to take into Chris's lesson on the Tuesday. I think that's about it on this one. Okay, Edward?